Hey there, horror fiends. James J. Coker here with a very special Halloweeny episode of TV Terrors. Well, horror fiends, it's October, late October, might I add, October 2017. And instead of the usual TV terror like a scary episode of an anthology show, just one episode, I decided to do my very first list video. Yes, instead of one, this will be five, count them, five great TV terror episodes, or scary episodes of horror anthology shows, perfect for your Halloween season. So let's get started. Number 5. Monsters, the Match Game. From the anthology show Monsters, the Match Game is about a young man and young girl, the girl played by Ashley Lawrence from Hellraiser fame, who sneak into an old abandoned house late at night with two other friends and play what is known as the match game. Each one of them lights a match, and while the match is lit, they have to tell a spooky story, and then when the match goes out, the next person lights a match and continues on from said spooky story. But the thing is, as each one of them starts telling the spooky story, which in this case, which is about the former owner of the abandoned house named Herbert, as they're telling about the spooky story of Herbert's body actually rises from the grave as a slimy, rotten ghoul and then begins to attack them. So it takes almost the power of belief to put Herbert back where he belongs. Now, this episode of Monsters is probably the spookiest and most fun out of that series, even though there was a lot of fun monster episodes of that series. The reason being that not only is Ashley Lawrence top-notch in this one, but it has a very spooky, stormy night kind of an atmosphere that's great for your Halloween season. And plus, Herbert the Ghoul just looks terrific. As always, the good makeup effects in that show. And the best scene from this episode happens to be when Herbert kills Tori Spelling, yes, that Tori Spelling, by mushing her head into goo. Don't believe me? Watch this shit. Number 4. Are You Afraid of the Dark's Tale of the Crimson Clown? Yes, another clown. There was another clown episode of Are You Afraid of the Dark, folks? And it's much better than that overrated Tale of the Laughing in the Dark. Tale of the Crimson Clown involves a bratty, spoiled prick of a little kid who ends up stealing his mom's birthday money to buy himself a fucking video game. Because of that, the kid's older brother warns him about a clown doll that will called the Crimson Clown that will come and get him for being such a spoiled prick of a little bastard. And so the kid doesn't believe him until finally the clown actually starts to haunt the kid left and right in various ways until the kid finally learns his lesson. Now, what's fun about this episode and good for the Halloween season is that, as I said before, it's a much better clown episode than Tale of the Laughing in the Dark, but also the various scenes of the clown haunting the kid are actually incredibly well done and very effective, almost nightmarish. One of my particularly favorite parts is when the clown's hand is slowly reaching out of the fucking TV set to get the kid. spooky, nightmarish clown stuff for your Halloween season. Number 3, Tales from the Dark Side's Trick or Treat. Now, the popular 80s anthology show, this episode, Trick or Treat, the Halloween episode, yes, another Halloween episode, along with, the Halloween candy episode that I reviewed last year. This episode was actually the very first episode of the entire anthology show, Tales from the Dark Side. Now, this episode is your very straightforward, mean old man on Halloween getting his comeuppance episode. Trick or Treat is about a mean old man who pretty much owns an entire small farming town from having so many IOUs and owning so much collateral and actual farms from the farmers. And every Halloween he puts on a yard haunt and has every single one of the farmers' kids try to go through the inside of his house that he has decked out in spooky stuff and even animatronics of some kind. And if the kids get scared and run out, then the parents won't get all their IOUs back. He does this for a few times until finally one kid was almost up to challenge the old man and try to get his father's IOUs back and have his father's debt cleared, when finally strange, creepy things start to happen to the old man. Strange, creepy things start to happen around involving his decoration sets. And finally, a green, raggedy witch actually comes up to his doorsteps, and actual ghoulies start to torment him as punishment for what he's doing. This episode is a lot of fun, and as I said before, it's very straightforward, to the point, has a message, and just fills you with that Halloween spirit. And it's a fun episode. Number 2, Perversions of Science, Panic. This episode, now, Perversions of Science was a very short-lived HBO sci-fi anthology show that came right after Tales from the Crypt ended. It was actually focused on different science fiction episodes and was directed by famous directors at the time. It even starred late 90s actors at the time. This episode, Panic, which is absolutely probably the best episode from the very, very short-lived anthology show, Perversions of Science, this episode actually stars Jason Lee and Jamie Kennedy as two peculiar college students in the 1930s who have been studying everything about human culture as they can. Finally they host a Halloween party for all their college friends, until finally at the Halloween party, the War of the Worlds broadcast plays on the radio. Everybody freaks out until finally, spoiler, Jamie Kennedy and Jason Lee start massacring everybody at the party in a very fun, almost shocking way, and then it is revealed that they're actually Martians themselves, and they believe that the War of the Worlds broadcast is their Martian comrades coming to take over Earth. Well, after they clear out all the bodies and they have some bickering back and forth between each other, even cursing at each other.
Okay, we're fucked. Not yet, we're not. What the fuck is going on here? You know shit about directions.
They finally get to the field and they're like, what the fuck? Where's our fellow Martians? Hilarity and hijinks and twists occur from then on out. And what's not only that is Jamie Kennedy and Jason Lee do a great job in this episode. There's these twists and turns, and there's a fun, frantic energy throughout the whole episode. And what's cool is this episode was actually directed by the late great Toby Hooper. Check this one out. It's really hard to find though, because Perversions of Science was never officially released on any home video format. So if there are versions of that episode, Panic, on YouTube or even Video Daily or any of those websites, it's probably unfortunately going to be in 360p. You're just going to have to take it and leave it, guys. And finally, number 1 TV terror, perfect for your Halloween season, is none other than Season 2 of Tales from the Crypt, my favorite, as you can see, my favorite horror anthology, Tales from the Crypt's television terror. Arguably the scariest episode of the whole damn series, Television Terror is about a shock jock journalist named Horton Rivers, played ironically by real-life 1980s shock jock television host Morton Downey Jr., look the guy up, who is now going to have a live special on primetime TV breaking into an infamous murder house to investigate. Kind of like the whole Al Capone's Vault thing from the 80s too. So they break into the infamous murder house to film this live TV special for ratings, only to find out that Horton Rivers is actually starting to see visions of the murders that happened inside the house, and then incredibly scary, spooky shit starts to happen, all while leading up to, and another spoilers here folks, the actual ghost of the murderer, a little old lady with a fucking chainsaw attacking him, leading to a gory death scene and an even creepier ending. So damn good about this episode, and honestly this is probably my favorite episode of the whole series, is that not only is it wonderfully made, Morton Downey Jr., as much of an asshole as he was in real life, does a terrific job here, and the whole atmosphere is incredibly scary. You feel a sense of terror and dread right from the beginning, all because of a creepy piano cue from this episode's composer right here. Because of that piano cue, I'm just getting shivers thinking about it. Because of that piano cue, it sets the tone for the whole episode, as if this house is so scary and so dread and so murderous that just before he even enters into said house, you're already getting shivers up your spine. And what's cool is that there are found footage aspects of this episode that came years before all the Ghost Hunter shit. So this was way ahead of its time for this episode. So in this episode, it's creepy, it's scary, it's dread-inducing, and it doesn't shy away from the gory and crazy aspects too. It's a fucking fantastic episode of Tales from the Crypt. You guys need to check that sucker out.
Oh, that Horton. He's a real swinger. He hangs out in all the right places. No wonder he's such a hit on live. Or is it dead TV?
So, horror fiends, I hope you all seek out every single one of those episodes for your Halloween season, hopefully right before the big day, and watch every single one of them and come to your own conclusions. In the meantime, I hope you all have a good Halloween season. I am James J. Coker, and happy Halloween.